Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here. So earlier in the year, I did a lot of videos on the new 360 Buckhammer round that came out from Remington, and I talked a lot about how a lot of people think that it's a stupid round, nobody asked for it, it's pointless, it's not going to last more than 5 years, blah blah blah. And I gave my opinions on the round and how I think that it's actually a pretty cool round, and I think it will definitely last longer than 5 years. How many years, I have no idea, but I think it'll last a good long while, and definitely be something that people are using to deer hunt. But I also think that it would be an excellent brush gun, because it's very similar to the 35 Remington. And my reason for getting the 360 Buckhammer was because I wanted something that was a medium brush gun caliber, somewhere in the 35 caliber range, because I have a 30-30, which is a decent brush gun, but it's not as good as a larger caliber like my 45-70. That would be an excellent caliber, but it has a lot of recoil compared to the 30-30. So I really wanted something kind of in the middle. And I essentially landed on the 360 Buckhammer because I really wanted a 35 Remington. But the 35 Remington, there's not that many guns. Well, I think there's only one gun really being made for it currently. Otherwise, you're looking for an old Marlin, or a number of other old guns that have not been made in a very long time. But also the ammo is really hard to come by, and it's expensive. In fact, it's like twice the price, at least online, that I could find. It was like twice the price of the 360 Buckhammer, which is literally like a combination of a 30-30 and a 35 Remington. It shoots the same bullet as a 35 Remington, just out of a 30-30 case. And, this is significantly cheaper than a 35 Remington. So in my opinion, it was just a no-brainer. You might as well go with a 360 Buckhammer, and have yourself a nice medium power brush gun. And of course, I went with the Henry X model and 360 Buckhammer, and that is an excellent rifle. It had a few problems right out the gate when I first got it, but I sent it back to Henry, and they fixed it and had it sent back to me like within a week. So that was awesome customer service by Henry. So shout out to them for doing, making good on my rifle. And I took it out and shot it, and it definitely shoots good. So anyway, what this video is really about is the ammo offerings, and I feel like since the 360 Buckhammer was announced last year, I guess it was announced at SHOT Show last year. I don't keep up as much as some people, but there was an extreme lack of ammo offerings and gun offerings, but the gun offerings have definitely gotten better in the last year. But the ammo offerings, you really only had 4 types of ammo, and really only 2, because they're like the same. So like Federal PowerShock and Remington Core Locked, you could get them in both 180 and 200 grains, and that was the only ammo offerings that they had for a good year and a half. And literally, these two are both 200 grains. One is a Federal and one is a Remington, and literally they're the exact same thing, the exact same bullet. It's just a different head stamping on the case. As far as I can tell, they're the exact same round. Now, I have not shot any of the Remington to see if they shoot any better or any worse than the Federal, but as far as I can tell, they're the exact same round. I also have some of the Federal 180 grains, and this was I think the first round that I got from for a 360 Buckhammer, because it was the cheapest that I could find at the time. And it's probably better for open areas, longer range, because it's probably a little bit flatter trajectory than the 200s. Probably got a little bit more velocity. So it's probably better for that. But what I really want to use this rifle for is being a brush gun, and I don't think that a 180 grain is going to perform any better than a 200 grain, because I just don't think that the 180 grain is going to punch through the brush and carry through as well as the heavier bullets of the 200 grain. But I do plan on testing it because, as far as I know, I don't think anybody has done any brush gun testing. I've seen it with 30-30, 45-70, 444 Marlin, 35 Remington. I've seen it with all those calibers, 12 gauge, 44 Magnum. I've seen it with all those calibers, and how each one of those rounds performs when you're shooting through brush. I don't think I've ever seen anybody on YouTube anyway test it out with a 360 Buckhammer, so I would like to give it a try. And with that, I was really excited when they finally came out with the Federal Hammer Down 220 grain bullets, soft point bullets. Now, these are bonded bullets, so it's kind of like the Federal Hammer Down, it's kind of like a Federal Fusion, only I guess it comes in a nickel-plated case as opposed to a brass case. Although I'm not 100% sure. I've never owned any Federal Fusion, but as far as I know, like the 30-30 Federal Fusion, it's like the same thing. Pretty much anyway. So you have a 220 grain bonded jacketed soft point. So it's a little bit different of a bullet profile than the 200 grain just a regular soft point, if this will focus. And I know a lot of what goes into whether or not a bullet will punch through brush and keep going. A lot of it has to do with the shape of the bullet, how wide and flat it is. Now, with this 220 grain bonded bullet, it's a little bit more pointy. So I don't know, is that little bit of a difference in the geometry of the bullet going to affect how the bullet goes through the brush? Is it going to cause it to deflect, like say if you were to shoot a 223 or a 308 with a pointed bullet through brush? Those kind of bullets, they'll deflect, they'll tumble. But a heavier bullet and a more flat bullet, like say a 45-70, it'll punch right through. So will the difference in geometry make a difference, or will the extra weight of the extra 20 grains of weight of the bullets make it a better round for a brush gun? Only time will tell, and I do plan on comparing at least these two rounds and maybe even the 180 grains, but I definitely plan on getting some targets, taking them out in the woods and trying to shoot through brush and just see how the bullets perform. I think that will be an excellent test. Now, I said, they announced the Federal Hammer Down 360 Buckhammer at SHOT Show this year, which I guess, what was that, like 7 months ago at this point? This is August. I think I got this ammo at the end of July, and I'm just now doing a video on it, but I ordered it at the end of July because I got a notification saying that it finally was in stock, and so I decided to buy a box. Only one, because it's a little expensive compared to the rest, although all of it's expensive these days. But as far as, price goes, the Federal Hammer Down is definitely the most expensive ammo option on the market. Now, there were two other ammo options that were announced at SHOT Show, and that was the Remington Core Locked Tipped, which is a 180 grain tipped bullet that has like a little green ballistic tip in it, and then a 160 grain Remington Core Lock Copper, so an all copper hollow point. Copper's lighter than lead, so it's a little bit lighter. So, I would like to get both of those ammo options as well and test them out just to see how they do, but they haven't come out on the market yet. I have not seen any of it for sale, at least the last time I looked, which was only a couple days ago. But hopefully those 2 rounds are out by deer season so people can actually use them and get to see how they perform. Test them out in their rifles before they actually take them out into the deer stand. Now, I don't know if life is going to allow me to hunt with this gun this year, just because I've got all kinds of things to pay for, weddings, honeymoons, things like that, right around deer season. And I just don't know that I'm going to have the time or the money to really go out and deer hunt with this gun, because I would really like to get a different rear sight, and with all the things that I'm currently paying on, I just don't think it's in the cards for this year. But I might take it out just for the hell of it. Maybe take it out as a secondary gun, because I usually take 2 rifles with me hunting, and just depending on where I'm hunting that day, I'll use one gun over the other. So I might take this one and just another gun, and if I'm hunting in the woods, I might just, give it a try, see if anything is close enough where I feel confident enough in my ability to shoot it with these fiber optic sights versus a peep sight, which is what I really want to put on this. But anyway, that's all I have for that video. I'm really excited about my new ammo for my 360 Buckhammer. Can't wait for them to come out with those other 2 ammo offerings, and I really just want to take this gun out and test it, put it through its paces, put the ammo through its paces, really, and just see how it performs and see, do I think this will make a good brush gun? Only time will tell. But anyway, that's all I have for this video.
Hey, before I go, I just thought I'd remind everybody that I do have a second channel called Redneck Off the Range. Over there, I post most of my non-gun related content, so whether it's a video on my new tractor, my power tools, my projects that I'm working on, maybe wild game recipes, or just a random vlog, I post all of this kind of content over on my secondary channel. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, go check it out, Redneck Off the Range. But that's all for this video, so subscribe to my channel, like me on Facebook. I'm Redneck Mini 14, and until next time, be safe.